I now call to order the 1565th meeting of the General Student Senate, the 18th meeting of the 45th session. Notice that this meeting is being broadcast via Zoom and the recording will be publicly available on YouTube. Next is the land acknowledgement. The University of Maine recognizes that it is located on Marsh Island and the homeland of the Penobscot Nation, where issues of water and territorial rights and encroachment upon sacred sites are ongoing. Penobscot homeland is connected to the other Wabanaki tribal nations, the Passamaquoddy, Maliseet, and Micmac, through kinship, alliances, and diplomacy. This university also recognizes that the Penobscot Nation and the other Wabanaki tribal nations are distinct, sovereign, legal, and political entities with their own powers of self-governance and self-determination. The clerk will now hold.
Cynthia Shelmerdine,
Excuse.
Ezekiel Delore,
Here.
Nate Fang,
Excuse.
Jordan Thompson,
Here.
Hayden Buzzell,
Oh, excuse, sorry. I just saw the message.
Dylan DeMerchant,
Here.
Heidi Johnson.
Excuse. Oh.
No, I'm right here. Casper Cowan,
Here.
Joshua Baum,
Here.
Juliana Jelly, here. Isabella Lamadrid, here. Matthew Weber,
Here.
oh, Caleb Burns,
Excuse.
here.
Or not.
Madison Harvey,
Here.
James Reader Stewart,
Excuse.
Marcus McLean,
Here.
Bo Meacham,
Here.
Meredith Waters. Here. Sarah Martone.
Here.
Kyle Ricker. Zachary Kellogg.
Here.
Ethan Grady.
Here.
Hazel Sparks. Here. Colin Bella.
Here.
Taylor Stanford. Here. Keegan Tripp.
Here.
Memphis Peterson.
Here.
Oliver Waugh.
Here.
Dylan Lehman.
Here.
Joe Rocky.
Here.
Elizabeth Oldfield. Here. Abby Downer. Here. Zoe Stankovitz. Here. Olivia Britton.
Excused.
Riley Mills.
Here.
Mackenzie LeBlanc. Amanda Levesque.
Excuse.
Jacob Barquist.
Here.
Hannah Blanchett, proxy. Zachary Wentworth,
Here.
John Guzman,
Excuse.
Pascalea,
Here.
Heather Domingue Baez,
Here.
Danny Tanaka,
Here.
and Lori Sedona. Here.
Next, I'm looking for approval of the September 24th, 2024 minutes and this agenda. Senator Rhodes.
I move to approve the September 24th minutes in this agenda.
Second. If that is the pleasure of the Senate, that is adopted. For Robert's Rules tip of the week, listen to it. No? Cool. It will be a point of order. The purpose of this, say you're a senator and I just happen to be a hot mess, just for an example, and I'm going completely off the rails, skipping things on the agenda, doing things incorrectly, not calling the right vote. You raise your hand and yell point of order and explain what I am doing wrong, and I immediately have to conform it. Also, conversely, if anybody out there is acting out, I can gavel you and say point of order. Next, for general good and welfare, any non-member may address the General Student Senate for not more than 5 minutes. Going once, going twice, seeing none. Senator Ricker.
I move to suspend the rules to add resignation on the new senator's officer appointments and resignations in this agenda.
Do I hear a second? Hearing a second, if that's the pleasure of the Senate.
Did you clarify what senator resignation?
Oh, I didn't think he had to. Because like I was thinking.
I guess it doesn't matter.
Okay, that's the pleasure of the Senate, that is adopted. Any discussion on the motion to suspend the rules? Any debate? All those in favor? For a senator, you gotta vote. All opposed? All abstaining? Seeing a clear majority, that is adopted. For new senators, officer appointments and resignations, we have Dylan DeMerchant resigning from his CLAS Senate seat. And that's all. Next, for club maintenance, we have Black Bears Who Care, who are here for final recognition. Are they here? Yes. All right, go ahead and step up to the podium. Welcome. If you could just tell us a little bit about your club and what you hope to ask from student government today.
Yeah, so our club is a
basically a community service club, but what makes us different is we really get out in the greater community than just Maine. We focus a lot on those areas in Porno, Bangor, Old Town. Some of the projects we've done, we just had a bake sale, all money is being donated to the Shaw House, which is a home for homeless teens in Bangor. Last year we had a hygiene drive, collected hygiene products, feminine hygiene products, toothbrushes, toothpaste. We donated that to the caring community for Old Town. Some of our future plans, we're doing the adopt a kid thing for Christmas, where we like small families get Christmas gifts. We are also volunteering at the domestic violence walk at the end of this month. Those are some plans we have coming up. And this is the end of our probation period, and we are just seeking the final recognition.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the speakers? Senator Bone?
How many members do we have currently? We have 31 members on the email list, about half of them each week.
Senator Ricker?
What's your favorite part about Black Desert Hills?
Definitely just getting out there in the community outside of Maine. Although we're opposed to working in Maine, but it's pretty special getting to see like the local impact.
FEPC Chair Stankovitz?
When and where do you usually meet? When and where do you usually
We
meet?
usually meet for St. Black as our advisors.
Any other questions for the speakers? Seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
4-0.
Senator Morton?
I move to accept the committee's recommendation.
Second.
If that is the pleasure of the Senate, that is adopted. Any discussion? Senator Bone?
For information for VP Rocky, how many, like, in general, how many charitable organizations do we have on campus that like do service projects or work with charity?
That's a good question. I couldn't say the number off the top of my head, but we SOC and CSI made the assessment that they don't duplicate the mission of any of the other groups.
Any other discussion? Any debate? Seeing none, all those in favor? Your senator, raise your hand. There you go. All those opposed? All those abstaining? Seeing a clear majority, that passes.
We'll talk about this.
All right, seeing nothing for club presentations, we will now move on to our guest speaker of the night, Sophia Langlois, the editor-in-chief for the Maine campus.
So yes, my name is Sophia. I'm editor-in-chief of the Maine campus, which is your student newspaper and one of the oldest running newspapers in Maine. We've been around since 1875, so a long time. It's super exciting to see a full room with a lot of new faces. And so just to kind of let you guys know about how we function, the Maine campus publishes about 20 articles every Monday morning across 4 sections or categories, if you will. So we have news, sports, opinion, and culture. Those are the 4 sections. And for the first time in 5 years since before the pandemic, we're back to print. And so I have some copies over there. I'm not sure how many are left. Feel free to take one. I distributed about 200 around campus, so they're scattered, but we have some in the office as well. We love to have visitors, so please come by if you want a copy and can't find one. We're happy to give them to you. In the copies, you will see articles in the 4 sections that I described, but then we also have a crossword puzzle. We have horoscopes and a comment section. So there are a few extra fun things there. And we are in room 143, and we're happy to have you come by and give us feedback or story ideas if you have any. And so what I'm really here to talk about today is the relationship we've cultivated with UMaine student government and how we want to continue doing so. And beyond meeting coverage, which we have a reporter come and attend these meetings every week and write about them. And so feel free to check it out. I'm sure all of your names will be in there at some point. Most of them are in each article because we really do try to cover all bases, even though we do have a bit of a word limit, which is 700 words. We sometimes go past it. But so one thing that I wanted to bring up is that we are going to have a little feature series about you guys and your roles. And so it's going to be split into 3 articles, one for the senators, one for the representatives, and one for the executives in that order. We're going to do it. And so the way it's going to work is there will be a group photo of you guys each in the different 3 categories. And we're going to have a job description specific to each role. From the job descriptions that you guys have, we're gonna have the job description and then a little introduction to you specifically and a statement from you. And so I'm going to be creating senators first. I'm gonna be creating a Google form and it's gonna ask you your name, your year, your major or minor, and your campus presence. So you'll answer those questions and then provide a quick statement, sentences. You can kind of go your own way with it, but then we also have suggestions if you need a little direction, which might be what do you hope to make of your position, what inspired you to take it on, and even, what's a lesson that you've learned so far? It hasn't been long, but who knows, by the time we get to the executives, maybe it'll have been a few months. And another way that you can interact and collaborate with us is through coverage requests. If you have a project that you're spearheading or working on that you are super proud of, let us know and we will give you that recognition. Or if there's an organization that you're a part of, or maybe you learned about at a meeting that you want to be highlighted, let us know. We very rarely deny coverage requests unless they come in super last minute and it's, an event. But let us know if there's anything you want to see recognized in the paper, because 9 times out of 10, we will say yes and we'll be happy to do it. And another way you can join in on the fun is by submitting a guest essay for our opinion section. So if you feel strongly about something or, you're passionate about a topic and you want other people to know about it, please write a letter to the editor. We only edit those for AP style and grammar. The content will not change, the wording will not change, it's your voice, it's from you, you are published as the author. And it's a good way to get the word out outside of this community and the community needs to be reached. And that's about it. I'm not sure how long I've been talking for, but if anybody wants to ask anything, I'm happy to answer some questions.
Are there any questions for the speaker? Senator Weber?
Thank you so much for coming out and showing us this. It looks great to what I've seen. Do you know like a specific time when one would come out? Like when is the senators one? Do you know, or like are you like kind of activated?
When the article for the senators will come out, I'd like to get that started next week, and it's kind of going to come down to when every senator responds to the form. And so I know Keegan and Memphis, they will encourage that, and I'm sure you guys will be great with it. And once we get that information, once we have access to the job descriptions, I would say I'll estimate probably within the next couple of weeks. I'll say before Halloween.
Any other questions for the speaker, Senator Martin?
Do you foresee the Maine campus continuing this physical media, like having physical papers for like the foreseeable future?
Like that, we're definitely making room in the budget for it. I can't promise that we'll have more copies necessarily or the same amount. I hope we do. But so there will be a monthly edition released on the 1st of the next month. So that's a September edition we put out today, October 1st. And so the next one will maybe be a little spooky. I don't know, the cover art, we'll see. And so that'll come out November 1st. And hopefully we can continue that beyond my time here.
Any other questions for the speaker, Senator Baum?
The letters to the editor, are those, like, anybody can do those and?
Anybody can do it. We obviously, if you're affiliated with Maine, you can do it. We're not gonna accept it from someone who's not anywhere near this community. I've gotten letters to the editors, political ones from people in Michigan or whatever. We don't necessarily accept those. And as long as the content of your letter is not offensive, chances are we will publish it, but that is at the discretion of the opinion editor who is in this room. So she will decide, but if you, like I said, if you're affiliated with the university, and especially if you are in a leadership position at the university, we will not only accept it, but we will encourage it. So please write us letters to that.
Senator Ricker?
What's your favorite part of working for the campus?
My favorite part of working for Maine campus, I would have to say the production environment. I love being in the room with the editorial board, and I love just kind of going through and editing and everybody going around and giving their updates and answering whatever little prompts we have. It's a very nice community in the newsroom, and I'm just super happy to be there.
Senator Martin.
I know you said you accept stuff from people affiliated with the university, do you accept like letters from like alumni?
I consider that an affiliation. I think a letter from an alumni, especially, what's it called, the alumni?
Association.
Yes, if they, like, the president wants to write us a letter, that would be wonderful. And you might even be reaching out and asking them at some point. So definitely from alumni.
Any other questions for the speaker, President Trick?
Okay, I don't really have a question, but I want to talk about Sophia for a second. So when I first got here as a senator, I stopped by the Maine campus just to say hi, and I met Sophia. And since then, she has kind of been one of those people that I've touched base with, especially throughout my journey in this organization and watching her grow in hers. And I just want to point out that Sophia is doing a really good job. Maine campus this year is doing a really good job. Returning to print is a big deal. It's a long time in the making. And just generally, I highly encourage, especially our first year senators, to go and meet some contributors. Because who knows, in a few years, they could be editor-in-chief and you could be president and you could have a fun little relationship like me and Sophia do, where we kind of bend to each other when we need to and support each other. So again, highly encourage you to be involved in the Maine campus. A lot of the stuff in there are things that people in this room should know about, considering it is campus news. And yeah, thank you for coming and sharing this really exciting new project and stuff for the year.
Thank you for the kind words, and thank you all for listening and having me here. If you have anything you want to talk about, please feel free to reach out. All of our contact information is on the website. So if it's kind of specific to a certain session, you can put it there.
All right, are there any other questions? Dylan the Merchant?
Okay, so if we want to submit an article to the Maine campus, how much notice do you require? Is it 2 weeks, a week, a day?
So truly, we don't need much notice. If you want to kind of ensure that your work will get up there, just so that, you know, you're not necessarily wasting your time, you can check in with Meredith about the topic and make sure that it's something that we would put up and maybe, you know, get some feedback there. But so we edit on Sundays. The deadline for sending in a letter to the editor would be that Friday. But chances are a lot of the topics stay relevant. So even if you miss 1 week's deadline, it'll just carry over to next week. And you can write on your time, is what I have to say. You can write on your time as long as it stays somewhat relevant.
Hey, are there any other questions for the speaker? Seeing none, thank you so much for making the time. And you know the drill, you're more than welcome to stay or, you know, totally into them. Moving on to executive reports, questions are open to non-members, starting with the president.
Alrighty, folks, guys, I hope everybody is having a good start of the week. A few housekeeping things. Number one, my office hours have changed. I've essentially moved my Monday office hours to Tuesdays. So now my office hours, and I'm just gonna go through them real quick. Tuesday, 12:30 to 2:30, Wednesday, 12 to 3, Thursday, 12:30 to 2:30, Friday, 12 to 3. Easy to remember. I happen to be very busy during my office hours. So I highly encourage you to reach out. I would love to sit down and talk about whatever you guys want to. But I do encourage you, if you're coming to stop by my office hours, that you send an email, even if it's just a few minutes before. I'm pretty quick with my emails, and I can either tell you, yeah, come on in, or no, I'm across the campus in some other meeting. I try to make sure that all my meetings are within those so that I'm not overworking. But yeah, and that also goes to any general students who may or are probably not watching this on YouTube. Come stop by. And then moving on, the student life deans and the exec crew got a lovely opportunity to tour, the new wells, and also get to tour their menu. And we had a really good time. It was originally going to be just kind of a dean's exec kind of touch base meeting. But then we decided, or we were offered from the Wells folks to come by. Yeah, and they told us a little bit about like their plans. They have some exciting events. But there were a few things that we brought up to address. That I want to go through. Number one, the bareness and lack of black bareness, which I wrote that earlier and it sounded more funny in my head. They're working on that. There's a lot of memorabilia and I guess they're working on collecting memorabilia. I know that the Alphon and the renovations, they're like removing the old Hall of Fame, so hopefully they can get some cool stuff from that. And as well, they're waiting on a few more pieces of furniture, which considering the locker situation, I guess I'm not surprised, chipping. But hopefully that'll be a little bit more UMaine-esque and a little bit more D1 Black Bears than it is, as Dean Dana would call it, a bus station. So that's on its way. The other thing is that the Amazon store is officially 24 hours. This was something I wasn't entirely sure about because the lights looked off and the door looked locked, but it's on purpose. The lights turn off for energy reasons and you have to scan your main card to get in after like 11 when it's like the late hours. So I've been there very late and tried to open the door and I was like, it's locked. It's not locked. Just scan your main card. And then the last thing is I encourage you all to check it out if you haven't already. Food's not bad, the atmosphere is good, and another thing for our student orgs, I know that space and stuff is something that we're always talking about, and they were really excited about potentially opening up some of their dining hall space. They have a more traditional dining hall-esque part that can put beside it to any student org events. So if any of you are thinking about some sort of food-related thing, please let them know. I think they're eager to get some student involvement in there. New business, lockers shipped on the 26th. I called today. That was exciting. They'll be arriving, they said the 9th on Monday. Just a reminder, that's 27 lockers that should be able to hold the necessities and office supplies of the smaller needs clubs. And then I hope to have a policy draft considered by SOC that Wednesday when the Monday comes through. So that Wednesday, and then have it to Polypro by that Monday so they can tap that Tuesday. And then we can have the lockers online before November and getting them to clubs. So that's super exciting. And then I have a few meetings. Number one, I'm meeting with Jeremy Callamore. If you recall, he is the second year who was kind of the co-organizer alongside former President Delors for the vigil in honor of the Lewiston tragedy. So he's talking to me about potentially doing a annual thing and how student government can be in that. So I'm happy to have that conversation and I look forward to reporting on that soon. Next, I'm finally having my meeting with Catherine Huntress tomorrow about the esports arena. I'm not 100% sure what we're going to talk about. I think it's just generally catching up about it and discussing just the regular year logistics. Like I said, last year we put a lot of money into it, so I'm not looking to do that this year. And then finally, myself and Vice President Peterson will be meeting for lunch with Dean Dana and President Freddie Mundy. This is something that me and Michael started last year, a semesterly as often as we can lunch. That's just a sit down and thing. I'll be reporting on it that week that I'm going so that you all know. So if there's anything you want me to address with her, I will. And that is the end of my report.
Thank you. As for my report, good evening, everyone. Now that we are in full swing, this is for senators. Your requirements to hold a Senate seat are now being enforced. This includes attendance in committees or ex officio positions. Been brought to my attention that a lot of senators haven't even taken the steps to try to fulfill these obligations. That's what I'm here for. That's what our Vice President of Student Leadership is for. That's what your fellow senators are here for, is to help you retain that seat. Speaking on that note, for all of my committee chairs for the Senate, you each now have binders where you're expected to keep attendance, notes, any kind of resolutions or notes you take on that. These are going to be mostly public knowledge where they're going to be kept. So I'm still trying to figure out where I want to keep them, but you can come in with Senate office, grab them, go to your meeting. If you want to, I guess, customize them a little bit because it's your committee, it's your discretion. Feel free to do that. There's also a couple extra ones. So if we just happen to make a few more special committees this year, they'll be ready to go. Lots of representative board and community association materials are still located in mine and President Tripp's office. Please reach out to either of us to come and get your materials. As somebody who studies history, I'm very passionate about repatriation. Just because we own it doesn't mean it's rightfully ours. So we'd like to give it back to you. If your guys' groups happen to have historians, this is a historian's gold mine, so please send them. I'm also currently coordinating a meeting with the representative of an organization called the Campus Victory Project. What this is essentially is people who are aspiring leaders on their college campuses get invited to a conference at the end of each semester to teach you how to run for that office, what to expect. It supplies lots of communication and networking with fellow student leaders literally all across the country. And it's actually very interesting going and then realizing how different our student government is, but there's a lot to learn. And I'll probably be giving updates on that throughout the semester. And please reach out to me with any other questions, comments, concerns, or ideas. Next is the Vice President of Financial Affairs.
Alright, hello everyone, I'll keep it nice, short and sweet today. So both what I've been up to this week and what I will continue to be doing next week is begin the education on financial policies. So I will assault the polygraph probably in the next few weeks. And then I've also continued my collection of financial resources for all the funds. As for our starting projected and allocated, we have $69,792.52. We have one office budget, which was amended to $115 for the Wildlife Society. For our consent agenda today, we have $200 going to Orno Student Nursing and $228.92 going to the Geological Society. And then later you will hear from the Physical Education Student Organization with a request that was amended to $1,299.15 and report.
Vice President for Student Organizations.
We had two quotes come to SSC this past week, obviously Black Arts UK we just heard from, and then Dressage came through and this was tabled by SSC. I've also changed my office hours. I'm now available Mondays 12 to 4, Wednesdays 12 to 3, and Thursdays 1 to 3, Fridays 1 to 2. I will be out of town for the rest of the week, so I'll be unavailable. I'll probably not respond to emails. I'm out of time for a conference. And also, VP Bois and I had a very productive meeting with a representative from Vermont's student government about the way they do things. I thought that was fun and important.
VP for Student Entertainment.
Hello, everyone. This past weekend for Family and Friends Weekend, we as student entertainment, but as student government as a whole, hosted Butler Ball on the mall, which was very exciting. We had over 200 people attend. So that was very successful. They had a great time, just like running into each other. Families like were recording it. It was great. It was great to see that. And big shout out to Senator Feng for helping me out with that. Could not have done it without him. The Trevor Wallace show is going great. As of right now, 277 people have signed up, which is great. Currently, we're waiting on posters to get made, and then we're going to table again. But very exciting that seems to be very successful so far. Last week we had 217 people go to the movies. This marks the 4th week in a row where over 200 people have gone. Again, this is a situation I want to monitor and hopefully we can discuss at the end of this semester. And then we're starting to make a little bit of progress on a spring show, just trying to pick out, again, maybe potential musicians and genres. So if you're interested in that, SEC meets Mondays 1 to 2, and a report.
VP for Student Leadership.
Hi, everyone. I finished up almost all of the onboarding. I think I have maybe 1 or 2 senators left. I'm also working on getting a merchandise order together. So if you have any ideas, please reach out to me. I'm also going to be making an effort to recruit some education planners because we still don't have any. So I'm planning to reach out to some of the more active, like major related education orgs. And maybe present to them in hopes that gets a little more interest than maybe just presenting to a class full of students at 8 in the morning. I'll be wrapping up the new brochure design and getting those printed hopefully by the end of this week as well. And I'm still working on advertising the scholarship, so let your friends know. Again, just a reminder, any senators or paid student government employees are not eligible to apply for the scholarship, but all of your friends are, so please have them. you can either access it through the newsletter link or on the website. Thank you, Riley. And senators that haven't already, I need bios and laws for senator spotlights for the newsletter. It's great practice when you have to have a bio for the ballot for senator elections. I will start hunting you down if I don't get them from you. If anyone would like to join student leadership, I'm working on coming up with a date for some of the interested, day and time for some of the interested senators, so let me know and I can put you in the loop on when we're gonna start meeting. And then.
Advisor to student government.
No reports.
All right, are there any questions for the speakers? Questions are open and non-members. Senator Richard.
Question, so. Question about the presidentship. I realize this might be a bit of a question, but through Dining Girls Committee, Chair is CEO, and it's presumably talked to Dining last week. But do you know, what's happening with the beer zone being closed in the morning? Is it intentional with Starbucks or is it just like a staffing thing? Or?
I'll be honest, I didn't know that was happening. Does anybody else know? Yeah.
I also, for point of information, I talked to Nate on Saturday morning and we talked about this actually, so yes, because of Starbucks and the food truck, the Bear Sun opens later in the day because those two things are supposed to supplement breakfast.
And what time is it open now?
That I think it's 11, I believe it's 11.
Senator Harvey.
Point of information, I can Google this morning, and on Google it says it opens at 10:30 a.m.
Okay, very good.
Any other questions for the speakers? Senator Marcon.
This is Director you, Memphis, Vice President Memphis. Have you, looked at, the clubs who have not voiced interest in keeping their historic artifacts and maybe, giving it to special collections?
That's honestly something we want to hear about.
I have contacted the orgs of which the things belong, and I have not heard anything back, whether they want it or not, so it will remain there. But I have started conversations, or I talked to the Dean of Libraries in passing about what it would look like to do like an archiving, and they would come pick them up, but I'm not going to do that until I get the okay from the orgs.
Any other questions from the speakers? Senator Baum.
Question for VPS. Do you have any numbers for like where we were for last year's comedy show, like ticket sales and after announcement?
I'm pretty sure it was a much slower rollout where most of the tickets came like right in the last like 2 weeks or day of, so we're definitely a lot farther ahead.
Representative Guzman.
Yeah, so I wanted to touch point on something you said, President Tripp, which was about the space within Wells Dining, kind of like separate from the whole restaurant concept.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I'm not very tall, so I mean, looking at the building is gonna be. But anyways, did you view the space?
Yeah, so it's literally like the dining hall, it has like the dining hall tables and whatnot, and it has windows, and then there's like, it's a separate, and then there's a little staircase, and then it has all the food area. It actually would be, I don't know if it would be conducive for an event, say like the Friends and Family Feast, just because I think you're gonna want like a North Quad flow.
Yeah.
But for a more intimate thing, it will be cool.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the speakers? Senator McLean.
A question for VP Oldfield. A couple of my peers have come up to me and asked about the leadership scholarship and noticed that there wasn't an option for freshmen. So are freshmen not eligible for the scholarship?
I guess my question is, like, what's not an option for freshmen?
Like,
The graduation date?
No, like the on the form. It says like sophomore and junior, senior.
I think that's just. They should be able to just type in freshman.
Oh, okay.
So even like I know, like when it says majors on there, it says business, I think that's examples. It's not the only options available, because it is for any undergraduate.
Okay, I must have been misinformed.
No, I mean,
No.
I will definitely ask Jeff about it, take a look at it, make sure it's not like limited to anyone that's like above a freshman, it should be available to freshmen, but we should be able to.
DOT Mills.
I guess point of information, you might want to touch base. Yeah. Looking at it, it does say during the next semester, the applicant will be sophomore, junior, or senior, so I think that might be what's being referred to.
Interesting, because I was not made aware that that was a current requirement for the application. I will fix that. Thank you for.
There we go.
Any other questions for the speakers? Senator Waters,
I don't know if I can do this, but for periodic reports, can I make a motion now?
once we get into periodic reports, absolutely. Any other questions for the speakers? Seeing none, we will now move into periodic reports. Senator Waters.
I motion to limit each individual periodic report to 3 minutes.
Second.
Hearing a second, if that is the pleasure of the Senate, that is adopted. Any discussion on the motion to limit reports to 3 minutes?
Not the whole thing, just each individual one.
Yeah.
3 minutes.
Go. Individual reports of 3 minutes. Any discussion? Senator Sparks.
Out of curiosity, is there a particular reason why you asked?
I'll say during debate.
Okay.
Any discussion? Debate on the motion. Senator Waters.
Our meetings are running too late and I'm such a sleepy girl.
Any other discussion? Senator.
Also, the VP debate at 9 p.m. and I would like to make that.
Start referring you to the purpose. Okay. I'm still moving with it.
Anyways, I have like a good amount of information, so like, I don't think I can squeeze it all in 3 minutes, but like 5. Can someone possibly amend that to 5 minutes?
Senator Bones.
I am also a fan of joining meetings, and so I'd say if you have more to say, just talk faster.
Senator Thomas.
I would also like to remind people with longer reports that the Senate space is a good place to share an overflow of information.
Any other debate on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Seeing a clear majority, that passes. Each report will now be limited to 3 minutes, which I will gavel once we get to the 3 minutes.
I'll do those timers.
First periodic report is the Faculty Senate Student Representative.
Yes, so the faculty senate last week was very budget based, so there's a tight budget this year, as we also have a tight budget. They went significantly over budget last year and are over budget currently this year, so they're going into their reserves, which is not very good. There will be serious budget cuts, and that includes some of the staffing positions. They're not firing staff, but the staff that are leaving, they are reevaluating those staff positions and seeing if they're necessary or not. Which is kind of freaking out all of that. And they are, for the budget, they are definitely focusing on the building renovations, which is why they're going over, as that is very important. And finally, there is 2 committees that they want undergraduate representatives on, if anybody's interested. The first one is the general education stewardship meetings. Those are once a month on Mondays, and they rotate between a 9 a.m. and a 2:30 start time. And academic affairs meetings, which meets once a month on Wednesdays in 3 to 4. If anybody knows someone or you want to join those meetings, let me know and I can contact you to that faculty. That is it.
University of Maine DOT rep, does anybody have that?
I do have that report. It's not very long. Okay. Oh no, people texted me.
By the way, I'm only going to start the 3-minute timer once you actually start talking.
Okay. Representative Britton says that, all I have is that there will be a special Zoom board meeting October 25th to discuss the fiscal year 2024 report. And there was an investment committee meeting on the 26th, for which materials and minutes are available on the board's website. End of report.
FUPC chair.
So this past week, I've been working on getting contacts for the rec boards. We don't have like a list of contact information, so I'm making one. I'm working on senator elections and bringing something to Polypro next week about adjusting the guidelines to see if we can get some wiggle room or something. So it'll take a little bit to present the timeline to you guys, but I'm working on it. Today we had our first FEPC meeting. It was really exciting. So today, Tuesdays, we'll be meeting 9:15 to 10:15 in the student gov offices. The times aren't in the calendar yet, but I'm gonna bug DOT Mills about it and I'll get them out tonight. and report.
Student legal.
No report.
Representative to the Graduate Student Senate.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Okay, never mind about that. Gonna be really quick. GSD had their second meeting last week with local meeting being dedicated to passing a budget, presented by Vignesh Zia. Overall structure, including what they're getting from the activity fee, post rentals and grant funds. GSG is also experiencing a budget crunch much like here. Doing and having the balance expenses such as club fund requests, social awards and officer stipends and more. If not, most all line items are increased by small margins for inflation. Budget has been presented and it was passed with a overwhelming support. I think it's unanimous. Executives, the president is looking forward to doing workshops for grants as well as CV resume building. Also trying to get an understanding of who is representing what departments and how many they are. VP Nolan Mers is highlighting his work with the University Renewal Program and board members to get involved. There's also, he mentioned that there was a couple of IT layoffs as well as SAS resignations have been kind of kept under wraps for unknown reasons. The grant officer Ashley Hose stated that House started the grant cycle and it ends on October 3rd with 8 people and 18 clubs applying for funding. And GST Union has been bargaining for meeting, has a bargaining meeting on the 8th with the location and time coming up. More on that later. They have also been doing a long series of talks with getting information from university in sorts of worker numbers and just general non-identifying information. This had been going on since last year, and it turns out, as that board meeting, the university had to get subpoenaed. I know, big word, but it was nothing too crazy. They had stated just for their reasoning on the union side is that the university is taking too long. And on the university side, said that they were just taking a very long process to make sure they weren't violating any education laws, including FERPA. If anyone has questions on what the grad union is doing, I have an email that's going to be listed in the Senate space, so feel free to ask them about that. Liaisons between GSG and the position is going well. I made contact with Harrison Goatspiel, who is speaking on behalf of the president during the off times, but I am going to the executive meeting, so you will be having reports consistently on that. And he's also GSG union representative, so that's also great. Moving on to personal matters, I know there's the whole limbo thing and I'm almost running out of time. But I know that I'm in a weird position. I am still wanting to be staying on with this position. So if any of you, if it would feel necessary, I would like to stay on with this and to table some sort of election if we're having that. I know almost out of my time, 20 seconds. But anyways, I really like this job. I still want to continue on this job. It is repertoire and I'm hoping to continue on with this. And it's just in my recommendation that the election for the GSG representatives is get tabled.
But now to Orno Town Council.
No report.
Old Town City Council.
No report.
Representative of Military and Veteran Students. Never mind, wait. Does anybody have that report? That's what I should. Seeing none. Director of Communication.
All right, hello. So I've been up to the normal posting on Instagram, uploading the Senate YouTube videos. I posted about the Coach Bus student discount. The BPSL and I did a reel this morning about the Student Leadership Award. And then I also reached out to a few people about some projects I had in mind, and I'm also working on printing posters for the fall show. And report.
Director of Technology.
Alrighty, so let's see, within the past week, recycled/donated 4 extremely old computers that ran Windows Vista. Upgraded BPSU Lehman's computer, I'm so sorry, that took a while. Organized more tech items, continued working with BPSO Rocky to update our club page. And lastly, I've been brainstorming different ways we can better support committees via the website. I have a couple ideas in mind, but if anyone also has ideas, please reach out to me. I'd appreciate any suggestions. End of report.
Does anybody have the security representative? Seeing none, Center for the Undergraduate Research.
I have my first meeting on the Center for Undergraduate Research side of things next Tuesday. It's kind of after the deadline, but I'll share as much information as I can at that next meeting. End of report.
Are there any questions for the speakers? Seeing none, we will move on to reports of standing committees, starting with marketing and public relations.
No report.
Membership,
OHOP on the table here today, had a little mix up of scheduling, but we're going strong, hopefully we can make it better. Thank you, and reports.
Did you pass?
Motion to limit reports of standing committee to 3 minutes.
I accepted all of that for a while.
Oh, okay.
So,
That's perfect.
and I second, you can point order now. Okay. All of seen consent.
All right, we passed a resolution to bring back the mental health special committee, but only one senator voted on it. So we meet at Mondays at 10 a.m. and we fulfill your Senate requirements. So just, not all of them, but like one of your 2 points. So come to Polypro and vote on stuff. And the report.
Political activism. Does anybody have that report? Seeing none, services.
So today, the undergraduate student flex program launches. So, if you all want, if you want $15 off a Concord Coach Lines ticket, head over to DTAP Community Center and tell your friends in the report.
Academic affairs.
Hey guys, I have my first meeting with Associate Provost Dr. Marzilli tomorrow. The Academic Affairs Committee time has shifted a little bit to 11 to 12 on Friday. If you're interested in getting involved, I need more people, and I'll give you 1 point for your 2. Send me an email or call me during break if you want to get involved in my committee. And before.
Are there any questions for the speakers? Seeing none, we will move on to reports of special committees, starting with the undergraduate student symposium committee.
So, after the meeting next week is when I'll announce times for when the committee's gonna meet. I'm also gonna try and do some advertising, like posters, putting in some of the big research buildings like Garland, Garden, or the STEM side of things. Just to try and get more involved this year and report.
Food and dining affairs committee, does anybody have that report?
I have the report, it's kind of long, but I'll try my best.
I'm gonna do this for fun.
Hi guys, sorry I couldn't be here tonight, but hopefully I'll have a WMEB show real soon. Shout out to Senator Thompson for reading my reports, hopefully that's my jokes justice. I had a really hectic week, so unfortunately I did not get as much done as I would have liked, but goals are still the same, working on the survey and tabling. My committee meets 3:30 to 4:30 on Fridays, yes, Friday is on the Google Calendar. If you can't make this time but still would like to be involved, please let me know so I can add you to the chat. The in-person meeting is more just brainstorming time. Speaking of my meeting, I had a great first meeting. Shout out to new Senators Lamadrid and Prati for coming and sharing their opinions, as well as Senator Kilmadine for keeping us on track and Senator Thompson for taking minutes. I can't type and think at the same time. For everyone wondering how my meeting with the Amazon people went, I didn't actually get to speak to any of them, but I did see 3 men in suits walk around Wells, and I got to speak with Gordon, the Wells manager. Wells is allegedly officially 24 hours now, and I'm working with their advertising team in DOC Downer. I'm working on a video tutorial for Wells Just Walk Out. This week, I'm hoping to hear back on their goals for the year, as well as goals they set last year they've achieved over the summer. I've also sent them feedback from students that I hope they'll be receptive to. Otherwise, you guys might see an act to urge next week. Finally, Sodexo released a feedback email address, which I cannot find right now, but I will get it to you and drop it in the Senate space and promote it. End of report.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the speakers?
A minute 40 left.
I do have a question for the FDA proxy. Did you say open 24 hours all of Wells Central?
He did say that. I think he probably meant just walk out.
Any other questions for the speakers? Seeing none, we will move on to representative board reports, starting with commuter and non-traditional students.
1 second. Just recovering from last report, okay. All right, so Kansas had held its second meeting with CNTSB and it's going pretty good. We're going forward with all CNTSB and Kansas meetings, including executive team members, and additionally, we have organized our October event schedule and communicated for us with future events in November, December. So more on that later. Old events, new events. We held our TC3 Tuesday, held in the Wade Center on last week. It went pretty well. And our next TC3 Tuesday is gonna be happening on the 22nd of October. Sweets will be breakfast focused. This is donuts, and then like in the afternoon, it's gonna be cupcakes. There's a Halloween movie night that we're looking to do on October 30th with the help of the Center for Student Involvement in Blackbird Cinemas. It's gonna be hosted at 5 p.m., hopefully in the den, and probably will be offered, hopefully, see you on that later. There's gonna be a hockey watch party, with pizza, with the time and place to be determined. But it's gonna be looking like an away game in November, possibly UNH, but we'll see about that. Finance week sandwich events, there's an idea regarding free sandwiches from catering from Legacy Sandwich or Carlton Deli, more on that later. The Kansas representative has been appointed, this guy. And we did posters, we put up around 40 posters all around campus, so if you see a bear riding a car, that's us. And the town of Orono, communicate with them on the issue of lights along community-based walking trails around campus. Summer Sunderland, the director at the Wilson Center, has also taken in the reins for this project and a report.
Honors College Student Activities Board, I have that report. We continue to work on its personal campaign, ironing out those we want to reach out to and how to reorganize it for a more successful year. There was no Maine meal pack out meeting this past week. And the new advisor for SAB is Sarah Nesky, I don't know how to pronounce that, in a report. Inter-fraternity council.
Hey everyone, so last Tuesday we hosted a successful Narcan training. We gave at least 2 Narcan to every single chapter that attended. So I think we gave definitely gave all of them out. A couple of chapters got some extra ones. We also hosted dive for Hazen in the fall last week. One of the teams from Theta Chi won, so they're gonna be able to donate to the charity of their choosing. Let's see. Tomorrow night, we're hosting a joint IC and panel meeting in place of our regular separate meetings. We're gonna try to do these like once a month just to keep everyone on the same page. And then we're also currently in the process of planning and setting up Greek week for this semester. That's less my domain, that's Lauren here, and then the IFC Vice President Peter, who are kind of leading that. So we're looking forward to that in a couple of weeks and report.
Panel and council.
Tridel and Teak are having the event on October 5th from 9 to 1 p.m. at Teak. And Penhill and I are going to be meeting at 6:30. And it's just working.
Senior class council,
No report.
student athletic advisor.
No report.
Are there any questions for the speakers? Seeing none, we'll move on to community association reports, starting with Student Heritage Alliance Council.
Yeah, I'm just gonna kill me because I didn't fully write this report, but I'm just gonna pick that important information. So all the chat groups seem to be doing pretty well in terms of membership, so that makes me happy. Model UN, they need to raise $10,000 to go to Harvard Model UN event in the Philippines. Spanish Club is doing well with their members. So ASA is working with the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, specifically ANILA, and planning a big Lunar New Year event with CSI. And they're also gonna tie in SAM, the South Asian Association of Maine, into that. So, love seeing cross collaboration between multicultural organizations. That's what we're about. Yeah, let's see. BSU planning their Boston trip. Sam, like I said, doing their chai and chat event weekly, which is going bi-weekly, which is going successful. Hello. They went apple picking last Saturday for Rosh Hashanah in collaboration with the Kobe College Hotel. So, that first intercollegiate event that was done, that's awesome. And then updates on Friends and Family Feast. Met Anila last week, kind of to talk about like the foundational logistics behind everything. Talking about like where ODI's role is going to be in this, where Shaq's role is going to be in this. We're also going to tie in like CSI, Swell, and I'm going to talk to Andrea Bowen to see what we can work out. So we're going to start planning that immediately. So the Shaq execs have decided to do like a 1 hour before our official meeting, exec meeting, to kind of like pan out details. So what we're going to use Shaq to do is kind of like bring panned out details to Shaq meetings and kind of like vote on it, because nothing really, I wouldn't say nothing productive gets done at Shaq meetings, but to do the work outside of it and then bring it back is probably way more effective for everything that we're doing. talking about fundraising ideas. The Shack event with Maine Succulents is in the works, and hopefully I'm gonna have Daisy, Dean of Library, come in on Thursday and pitch her reason, pitch herself to the Shack board, and hopefully have her as a new advisor. And then now we're doing Cub spotlights and exec spotlights on our Instagram, so look out for that and the report card.
This collective now. Wildstein, no report. And International Student Association.
Hello, everyone. We had a meeting yesterday, talked about this week's coffee hour. We also had a meeting with Senate, should involve to discuss our goals and share ideas. We got some important concept information there. Last week's coffee hour was a success. We had a fun time playing in the bingo and everyone enjoyed it. There was a good amount of people and we went through 15 boxes of large pieces in about 22 minutes. This week's coffee hour, we're going to serve a snack with. So finalizing the details and going around, but definitely going to be something delicious. And we'll also be hosting variety of board games. Everyone enjoy and relax. That's all for now. Hope to see everyone this Friday at 4 p.m. North Bottom Beach for coffee hour at the court.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the speakers? Seeing none, if it is
The time.
Senator Rickard.
I make a motion to strike the 5-minute recess on this agenda.
Hearing a second, if that's the pleasure of the Senate, that is adopted. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any debate on it? Senator Rickard.
Consent agenda is procedural and I just don't think we should give the EBC speaker way too much, especially because there's no exec session, no executive session on this agenda that's listed at least. So I think we should just I'll do it and get to the meeting.
Any other debate? Representative Merchant.
Just to ask why, is there a need for it? I guess it's like a point of information.
Senator Rickard just explained why. Yesterday. VP Rocky.
I personally like the 5-minute recess. I feel like it's 5 minutes. I mean, people gotta use the bathroom.
Senator Thompson.
We blazed through this entire first half of this report so quickly. I don't think I've seen this since last year when we had way less people. So I think 5-minute recess isn't gonna make us stay too much later.
Any other debate on the motion? No. All those in favor of striking the 5-minute recess from the agenda? For a senator, please raise your hand for either yes, no, or abstain when we get there. All those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Seeing a clear majority, that motion fails. We will reconvene at 7:03. 7:03. 30 seconds.
Your middle name's Taylor?
Yeah, my middle name's Taylor.
Why?
I don't know.
Since that's the reason.
Yeah, either this one expires. This one expires. Very.
My friend said he's like, my mom is done today. It's like, he just looks like baby. No.
We will now reconvene. I am looking for a motion to accept the consent agenda. President Tripp? No. Senator Weber?
I motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second.
If that is the pleasure of the Senate, that is adopted. And accepted, right? Cool, that's accepted. We are now, there's no unfinished business. We are now moving into new business. President Tripp?
Point of information for the Senate, and before I begin this point of information, just so you know, I have no opinion on this matter. But it is the regular kind of series of events when a position of the Senate, such as the GSG liaison, falls vacant. We do nominations and elections at that meeting. It's currently not on this agenda, and at the end of the day, it is in the Senate's hands. But I'm just putting that out here now for the sake of process.
For new business, we have 45S EBC, and act to allocate funds to the Physical Education Student Organization for $1,299.15. Do we have a speaker for this organization?
Yes.
Awesome. If you would just introduce yourself, your organization, and what you hope to get from Senate.
Hello, my name is Alexa Peck. I am the president of the Physical Education Student Organization, which we call PITO, just to be short. My request is for funding for registration and hotel rooms for my group PESO to attend a health and physical education conference in Rockport the first weekend in November. I am requesting money from the College of Ed for food, travel expenses, other things. I'm only asking to government for money for registration and hotel rooms. And my request at EBC was amended to half of the cost of the hotel rooms for 2 nights that we'll be staying there. I would like to request to get the full cost because it was cut because the Samoset is so close, the hotel that we're staying at, because it's just in Rockport. I would like to request the full amount because the Samoset is 75 miles away and driving there and back each day for the 3-day conference would introduce a lot of complications for our students, including getting gas money for that, additional gas money for that, and safety concerns. I would also like to point out that we arrived at the conference on a Sunday midday for events in the afternoon from noon to 5 for conference. And then there is an awards banquet that night from about 6 to 8 or 9, where several of our students are getting recognized and getting awards at that banquet dinner. So it would be easier for us if we were staying in the hotel that night. And then Monday, conference starts at 8 a.m. and goes until 5 p.m. We have sessions all day. Everyone in the club is part of the conference. They're hosting a room. They're introducing the speaker and welcoming professionals from around the state who are attending the conference into the room and taking a leadership role at the conference. So it's important that we're able to be there all day and every person in the club can play their role and do that. Then Monday night, there is also a social event for networking that would really help our members network for after graduation, get to know other professions in the state, getting in possibly for future jobs. So it would be really helpful if we were able to stay there for that sort of little event from, I believe it's 6 to 8 that evening. And so that would just make it so much easier for us if we were able to stay at the hotel that night. And then conference continues Tuesday morning from 8 to noon with more sessions, more opportunities for professional development, more opportunities for leadership with our members hosting rooms. So I would like to request the full amount that I specified on here, which is $948.30 for hotels, in addition to the registration costs, coming to a total of $1,773.30.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the speaker? VP Oldfield?
What have you guys done for fundraising for this event?
We hosted several events last year. We fundraise every year. We do a clothing sale. We have done a dodgeball tournament the past couple of years, as well as I think a pickleball tournament. We've done things like that on campus. We are using some of that money for gas money as we know that student government can't pay for that. And we're also asking our college for money for food for during the conference time.
Senator Gilmore.
What's your main goal that you're looking to accomplish by going to this conference?
We are looking to, we're going to the conference for professional development and also to introduce our students to the professional world, other professionals in the community in the state of Maine. It's a national conference, it's a conference for every PE and health teacher and professional in the state. So we're just looking to get to know them. It's some networking opportunities for after graduation.
President Tripp, what funding requests do you think are you anticipating from PESO throughout the rest of the year?
Absolutely not. This is our main conference. This is the main thing that we request money to go to. The rest of the year, we focus on fundraising, team bonding, volunteering.
Any other questions for the speaker? Senator Joel?
How many students would this cover to go to?
15 students, which is a lot. It's been a very small club in the past because it is mainly for kinesiology majors.
DOT Mills?
Sorry, I just want to recap, make sure I get it all clear in my head. So could you just give me a timeline of like what time your day would start, what time it would end? like for each day, and assuming you had to, drive, for whatever days you don't have covered, like a rough idea of when you'd have to leave? Just to get an idea of like how long this
Okay.
day process would be.
So the conference is Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, the first weekend in November. Conference events on Sunday are 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. And then the award banquet is 6 to 8 or 9, depending on how many people they're recognizing. So if we had to leave here, we'd have to leave at 11:30, I believe, and we wouldn't get back until also around 11 at night, 10:30, 10 maybe. And then conference events start at 8 a.m. on Monday. So we would want to be there a little early. If we had to drive, we'd have to leave here at between 6 and 6:30 in the morning. And then with the networking event, conference goes till 5, and then there's a networking event at 6 to 8 p.m. So we'll be getting back around 9:30, 10 p.m. And then there's also conference on Tuesday, which again starts at 8 a.m. and goes until noon.
Any other questions for the speaker? To Senator Martin.
Is the conference also being held at the Samoset Resort?
Yes, the conference is being held at the Sunset Resort, and all of the professionals who are attending the conference are also staying there. So we have networking opportunities for breakfast, lunch, dinner, all of that.
Senator Michaud.
So I have a question and maybe a follow-up question. So the place you want to stay in a hotel is this resort in Rockport?
Yes, the Sunset Hotel.
And never mind, that's not the question.
Any other questions for the speaker? Senator Bone.
Two things, I do want to mention that, okay, so Dave get half price on their rooms, I mentioned this during the BDC meeting. And so that does go for them, but I do have a question for the speaker, it's do the members pay dues or is there any out-of-pocket costs for this event?
The members do not pay dues, we just focus on fundraising altogether. The out-of-pocket cost for this event is gas money.
Senator Harvey.
How much money have you fundraised for this trip?
I believe specifically set aside for this trip, we have $700 for food for the 15 of us for the 3 days, 2.5 days.
Any other questions for the speaker? VP Oldfield.
Is that $700 the money coming from the department or money from your own?
We have that fundraised on our own. We asked the department if they could help us out and give us some money so we don't have to leave what we fundraise, so we can save that to buy more equipment, to put on more fundraisers in the future and to volunteer.
Any other questions for the speaker? Representative Guzman.
Yeah, so running the hypothetical, let's just say you aren't allocated the full amount that you're requesting. What would be kind of the compromise here? Would you want up to 85%, 75% of what your total cost would be to kind of alleviate that? So what would be kind of like the minimum?
I would go with the cost, I don't know the percentage, sorry, but the cost for registration and what EBC approved half of the hotel prices.
Any other questions for the speaker? Senator Ricker.
I don't think you have the numbers in front of you, but like, if you had to guess, how much is each individual member paying for this conference as a result of this passes like this for the town of the hotel?
Okay, that would take you next.
Yes.
Point of information, I just did the math, it'd be each of the 15 members would be contributing $33 or a little over $33 for that extra night of the hotel room. So if they had both nights of the hotel room instead of just one. If that helps answer the question.
Any other questions for the speaker? Seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
4-0-0.
Senator Ricker.
Can I accept the committee on one?
Can you what?
Can I accept the committee's recommendation as well? Okay, I move to accept the committee's recommendation. Second.
Hearing a second, if that is the pleasure of the Senate, that is adopted. We're now entering a point of discussion on the motion at hand. Senator Sparks.
Can you just repeat what the recommendation was, or you might catch up?
The recommendation was 4-0-0 opt to pass as amended. Any discussion on the motion? Any debate? Senator Bone.
$30 is not nothing, but $30 to get a chance to go to an event like this and spend multiple days. Is not terrible for their members, and the cost that we are taking is for half of the hotels for an event that's taking place within the state of Maine. And so, I can speak for myself and my ideas at EBC was that, we don't usually fund many events that take place in Maine, so this was kind of different. But I felt like spending over $1,000 or almost $1,000 on hotels for something that's less than 2 hours away seemed kind of exorbitant, and so we wanted to cut it in half.
Any other debate, Senator Ricker?
Oh, no, unallocated is really low this year compared to previous years when it comes to allocating funding to clubs, which is just a really bad situation, but yeah.
Any other debate, Representative Guzman?
Yeah, so, you know, I agree with, you know, general consensus of what everybody is saying. But I think the importance of, you know, student activity fee, in general is to, you know, give opportunities to, you know, our students. And I 100% think that we should fund the full amount for registration and not hotels. I feel like, you know, we heard a compromise and that registration is gonna cover, you know, professional development, potentially, you know, I feel like it's important for that whole aspect of like providing a future for our students. And, you know, obviously, there's just gonna be overhead costs for, you know, them to be able to pay the rest of the hotel, but I would 100% agree with, you know, the consensus of funding the full amount for registration for the students.
Any other debate? Senator Sparks?
I think that the registration is a very important part that should probably be covered, but hotel would definitely be more up for debate, in doing the full amount or not.
Any other debate?
Point of order, we are discussing the resolution as is.
Yes.
No one's motion to change it.
Yes, I was just about to say during sessions for debate is where you would make motions on resolutions. President Tripp, did you have your hand up?
Yes, so how much is registration per student?
$55. That is the early bird cost because we all made sure to sign up before October 1st, so we would be saving $30 on the registration.
Any other points for debate? And do I hear any motions to amend? I do not. All those in favor of the new business 45S EBC as it reads? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Seeing a clear majority, that passes. Thank you very much for coming. New business, we have 45S POL, an act to reestablish the Student Mental Health Special Committee for the 2024-25 academic year.
Should I go?
I was gonna ask, do you want to or do you want me one?
I'm down.
Okay.
Okay. I got to use the volume. I hope you can still see me over it. Okay. This is the act to reinstall the Student Mental Health Committee. Let me get the act up so I can make sure I get everything correct. There isn't a lot that's unique about this resolution versus reinstating other special committees. So I'll go over why we are reinstating the committee first and then into what makes this different than other special committees resolution wise. Okay. The Student Mental Health Special Committee has been a special committee for 3-ish or more years. Hasn't been a super active special committee, but it has existed. Last year around April, when the rest of the special committees were reevaluating themselves and either continuing to be special committees for another year, dissolve, or if they wanted to become permanent committees, there was no one that was really championed Student Mental Health Committee, so it kind of, I don't want to say it died, but it was a special committee that didn't get re-upped when the rest of the special committees either became ongoing special committees or permanent committees. But we have 2 people this year, particularly Representative Levesque, who is not here, that are passionate about making sure something good gets done with this committee. The thing that is special about this resolution compared to a different special committee is that it's very specific in the resolve where it has predetermined relationships that this committee chair is gonna maintain with Trio, SAS, Swell, and the Counseling Center. And that just gives it a little bit more of bones. So like, it was a little bit of an empty committee before where people didn't really have a good direction for it. So we're hoping that with this new resolve, it has a really solid base to stand on.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the speaker? Seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
100 ought to pass.
Senator Ricker?
I would give us up the previous recommendation.
Second.
If that is the pleasure of the Senate, that is adopted. Any discussion on the motion? The resolution, I should say. Senator Weber?
I am very passionate about this. I do hope that people like do accept it. I want this to be.
That's debate.
Yeah.
Any points for discussion? Any points for debate, Senator Weber?
Sorry. This is a good committee. I think it should exist. I think there is a place for it. Okay.
Senator Martin?
Our chancellor did just allocate like $500,000 for like mental health, so I'm really excited to see how that can affect.
Point of order, that was allocated over the entire union system. Just,
Yeah, that is true. Good catch.
Representative Norton?
College is stressful, life is stressful, these services are important and there are some people that don't know that these services exist. I didn't even hear about Trio, so I literally right now. So if that says something, would that be approved? So I want this to pass, please.
Senator Balak?
I fully agree with this. I understand the importance and I think it's very important.
Great. Any new points for debate? Senator Sparks?
I think it's important that it is a committee because the needs of people with mental health issues are going to change there at times and we need a committee to deal with that well. So if there isn't one, it kind of stagnate a little bit.
Senator Ricker?
I think a big component of this resolution, I really appreciate how direct that. Yeah, there's an actual big component in the writing of it, of how the student mental health committee interacts with different organizations and areas on campus, especially because of the longevity of student government. One day, none of us will be in this world, and it's good just to have that kind of precedent of where this committee is connecting and where it's communicating to different places on campus. And just having that in stone, because I know that this committee for the longest time, at least as long as I've been here, it's struggled a bit in this direction, so having that now is very good for future programming.
Any new points for debate? Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Seeing a clear majority, that is adopted. There is now a mental health special committee, and I have already made the binder for this, so whoever gets to share it, you get a binder. I am now looking for a motion to suspend the rules and add nominations and elections for the graduate student government representative under new business. Senator Thompson.
Motion to do that. Do I have to read it?
Do I hear a second? If that is the pleasure of the Senate, that is adopted. Any discussion on the motion? Any debate on the motion to suspend the rules and add this under new business? Senator Ricker?
I actually don't think we should do this tonight. I think we should do this next week. Reason being is because many senators are not here. Some people who want this position are also in procedural kind of limbo, who might otherwise would really like to want this position. And I think in order to get as many people as possible to have the availability to want this position, we should do elections next week instead of this week, just to give them the opportunity to run and state their case.
Any other debate? Senator Sparks?
I think that's a good point, but also we are keeping very well on time today, and that might not be the case next week, so I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Any other points for debate? Representative Tanaka?
It's one election. It takes like 5 months.
That is true. Representative Merchant?
Yeah, I'm also gonna say too, like, it's not really secret, I'm so interested in this position. I'm not really familiar with the procedures on how this fits in with me, with being a non-senator, almost representative kind of thing.
That's my Senate, I'm recognizing you as a representative.
Oh, cool. Never mind.
Any other new points for debate on the motion to suspend the rules and add nominations and elections for this position? VP Lehman?
Can we hear who was nominated for the last election for this seat?
No, that's.
So know what senators are missing.
Check them out.
I can answer that.
Well, we're not answering. Senator Thomas.
Motion previous.
Senator, second, if that's the pleasure of the Senate, it is adopted. All those in favor of the motion to suspend the rules for nominations and elections for GSU?
Point of order, we're voting on motion previous currently, right?
Yeah, you have to do a vote on motion, sorry. I
That's
didn't
great,
catch that.
point of order, great example. All right, so we are now you don't discuss, we are now voting to move to previous, which means that we're ending discussion and debate. All those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Seeing a clear majority that is adopted, we are now out of discussion and debate, and we are now voting on the motion to suspend the rules to add nominations and elections to new business. Okay, which technically needs not technically needs a 2/3 vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Seeing that it did not get a 2/3 majority in the positive, that dies. Great, that concludes new business, no main motions, no executive session, any special orders and announcements, any members of UMSG may address the GSS for not more than 5 minutes. President Tripp.
I'll be this quick. I'm really proud of us as a Senate today. Not only with our speed of getting through, I think we still got the points across. So, you know, if we wanted to continue a trend, I wouldn't mind it, to be honest. And you know what? Cap me at 3 minutes. You should. The second part is, this is, I know earlier, it didn't, you know, sometimes the decisions in this room are hard to make. But I'm very proud of you for making hard decisions. Because they're sometimes the right decision, and that is all.
Any other special orders and announcements, Senator Cowan?
So yesterday, the Marching Against Domestic Violence Committee met and we hosted a signage making event. It was mainly attended by members of the Humane Business School Corps and the Honors College. But you on your way out, you check out in the lobby across from the info booth, we did that display, and there will soon be a painting up by an artist here at Humane. The actual March Against Domestic Violence is October 18th at 5 p.m. Please don't quote me on that because I'm really bad at remembering things, but that sounds right. And we'll be sending out flyers that we have made soon to different departments across campus to get that promoted.
Thank you. Any other special orders and announcements? VP Rocky?
Thank you. I'd just like to point out that the Virtuous and Diligent Brothers of Sigma Phi Epsilon are holding a campaign on the mall until Friday to raise money for Partners for Peace, which is an anti-domestic violence organization, so check it out.
Any other special orders and announcements? Seeing none, the clerk will call the final roll.
Cynthia Shelburne.
Excuse.
Ezekiel DeLorme.